Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. Alright, so this video is on how to know if your crankshaft or camshaft position sensor have issues. Alright, chances are if your crankshaft or camshaft position sensor have issues, you're gonna have a crank no start issue. Alright, and that's pretty much one of the things that you're going to look for, but you're going to also look for a check engine light. All right, there's going to be a check engine light if the crankshaft or camshaft position sensor is going bad. But I'm just going to tell you guys the easiest way to know this. And there's no reason that there's no reason that anybody can't figure out whether the camshaft or the crankshaft has issues, or is the issue of whatever issues that you have with your vehicle. Right? You guys can get an OBD2 scanner. You guys don't know what that is. It pretty much scans for diagnostic codes. You can pick one up for $20 at Walmart, Amazon, eBay. You guys can go to AutoZone, Advanced Auto, and pick one up. And or you can have them scan it for you for free. All right. Now I know there's various other ways to do this. One of those ways, you're going to need a scanner because you're going to need to read live data. And as far as I know, if you can get a scanner that reads live data, or you can get a regular scanner that pretty much tells you the codes for a camshaft or crankshaft sensor. I mean, what are you going to do? Obviously it's going to just tell you what the codes are, and it's going to say crankshaft or camshaft issues. All right, it's going to give you codes for it. All right, or you could use a multimeter and go and take the crankshaft or the camshaft sensor off the engine, and then use the multimeter to see how much resistance the two sensors have. But like I said, if you guys can get an OBD2 scanner, plug it in to that OBD2 socket around the driver's side of the vehicle, and it'll give you exact readout of whether it's the camshaft or crankshaft sensor that has an issue. Why would you need to do the work and take the two sensors off, test for resistance, and pop it back in? All right, so there are cases where you get trouble codes for the camshaft and crankshaft, and then you get a whole bunch of trouble codes for everything else, or a lot of everything else, right? And in those situations, that's when you're gonna have to do some troubleshooting, because a lot of those situations where you get crankshaft and camshaft, and then you get these sensors for like all these other things that's not connected to the crankshaft or camshaft sensor, or any codes that is not connected exactly to any portion of the engine. Probably have an ECU issue, ECM, ECU disconnect, ECM, ECU issue. And at that point, you'll probably get have an issue with your ECM, ECU, and not the crankshaft or camshaft. So there's some troubleshooting going on. But you guys have a multimeter. You guys can if all else fails and you're in that situation where you'd have to take a guess at it because you guys don't get codes for the camshaft issue or the crankshaft issue, and you guys want to test the sensors themselves, yeah, definitely go and take the sensors off and test it out. But those situations, if you actually run into that situation, most people really aren't knowledgeable enough to actually use a multimeter for that, or electrically knowledgeable to use a multimeter for that. Or if you need to read live data You need a scanner to read live data. You need the same scanner that'll show you that it's the camshaft or crankshaft. So what I'm telling you is, for the most part, crankshaft and camshaft position sensor, if they have issues, it's going to cause no crank. It's going to cause a crank no start issue. It's going to cause a crank no start issue, and you're going to get a check engine light. Simple thing. Go get a scanner, scan it, see if those two diagnostic codes come up for crankshaft or camshaft, and you have the answer right there for the most part. However, you guys want to go and do the multimeter thing, which hardly anybody will do, as far as doing all the work of taking the sensors off and testing out like that. Or if you have the scanner itself, you can try to read the live data. So definitely go and get an OBD2 scanner and scan your car and see if those codes pop up. This is for mostly for people who are not familiar with car issues and stuff like that, with diagnostic codes, with crankshaft issues and camshaft issues. But the most direct way to know whether it's the crankshaft, the camshaft position sensor, whether those two things are the issue of your problems, whether those two sensors are faulty or not, is definitely to get an OBD2 scanner and scan your vehicle. Outside of that, you're just doing a lot more work than you have to. Basically, to tell you the truth, 99% of the time, that's what every other technician, mechanic does. For the most part, they don't. Most do not read, the live data on RPMs, and most don't actually use the multimeter, because that's just doing more work than you normally would, instead of having a tool that actually gives you a readout of those two things. But anyway, really hope this has helped you guys out. Please, if you guys have any comments, I know I'm gonna get some comments on this video, like you're not really giving other options as far as trying to figure out whether the crankshaft, the camshaft position sensor have issues. But if you think about it, an OBD2 reader is like $20. All right, it's trying to explain somebody how to use a multimeter to figure out resistance and read live data, when it actually just tells you what it actually just analyzes it for you. There's no point in either of those two things. But guys have issues with a crack no start issue, you guys have a check engine light, definitely get an OBD2 scanner, or have somebody scan it for you and see if those two codes come out. Simple as that, guys. All right. Anyway, if you guys have any of your own personal experiences with a bad crankshaft or camshaft position sensor, definitely leave a comment in the comment section, and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care.